nowadays, I feel like with social media, as social media changes, people change.
I personally love going to media just because I'm chismosa. Like, let's just call it what it is. I love watching what people do.
I have learned that I just have to be cautious because even though I moved right, a lot of people around you and a lot of people out here on the internet does not.
Tal's
But
IG
if
is
I'm
all about
gonna-
her, and then it's like the one post that she did about me.
Exactly.
I didn't like it.
That's fucking real estate. Hey, it's Talia.
And Karen here. We're two best friends telling our story without unnecessary entertainment. Just the straight truth.
No smoke, just mirrors. We talk reflection, relationships, and the rigor of knowing your truest self. Hi everyone, welcome to No Smoke, Just Mirrors. This is now episode 2.
We're super excited to be here.
I know, already episode 2. Look at us.
Time has passed, or maybe an hour has passed. You'll never know.
Welcome to episode 2. Now that we're in, let's start. Is social media a new love language?
Better yet, is it your new love language? So chilling. I feel like there are so many things to talk about media specifically.
Yeah.
Like, we grew up when media just came out, slightly. And shit has just changed. Like,
Everything.
the world of media has changed rapidly, but also I think dating has changed with media, friendshipping has changed with media. I think general relationships have changed with media. Doesn't matter what it is.
Image,
Yeah.
like confidence, everything has social media stems from a lot of it, of all these new changes that everyone's kind of going through individually, not necessarily as a group.
Mm-hmm.
But let's find, we've actually were able to find a couple of mantras for this episode. Now, let's start with the first one. Gotta look at my face. All right. The first mantra is, in a world of algorithms, hashtags, and followers, know the true importance of human connection.
That's deep.
Very deep. But it's very relevant because social media alone, there's just not enough there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's affected the new generations that's come up. No one knows how to have a conversation. No one knows how to be themselves. No one knows how to do, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many things that stems from it that a lot of people lack a lot of human connections. So, honestly, so how does media pretty much impact your relationships?
Maybe let's start off by sort of describing how we use media. I think that's a good starting point, and then how it impacts us, because impacting and usage are two different things, right? On the forefront, I personally love going to media just because I'm chismosa. Like, let's just call it what it is. I love watching what people do. But also, I've found so much resonance in, like, activities, like watching people cook, watching people do specific activities like sports, or like adventuring through a new city, right? So it's more me of looking, less posting. When we were in our 20s, I'd say or late teens, right? Because I think it was late teens when we came about media. It was all about posting what you're eating, what you're thinking.
Oh my God, yeah.
What you're eating was like a huge
I
deal.
would see plates of food.
No, I used to post like all the burger spots I used to go to. I'm not gonna lie. But what you were eating, what you were looking at, your favorite things, family, friends, like it was very oriented around your day routine. Now it's really about moments in your life. It's not like a daily picture of what you do.
Yeah, no dailies.
so
That's stories now.
Yeah. So once I don't even know if stories were actually a thing.
No, it wasn't.
But
it wasn't.
originally Instagram was about you posting a bunch of shit, and like, fine. Now in my 30s, I just post different chapters in my life. So, for instance, I'll do like a post. We just recently did a post of our trip on Argentina, so I did a reel. I'm less on Facebook, more on Instagram, because I feel like Instagram is so much more creative. And also Instagram is just so much more fun to look at. Like, it's just steady pics, steady like video footage. So it's much more appealing to me. Whereas Facebook is more about like memorabilia, like happy birthday to you, essay. Congratulations on your wedding, essay. You look great in this pic. Like it's very elaborative in words, which is my thing because I'm definitely one who projects a lot of words in my comments. But I use it less instead of Instagram, where it's just a pic and caption. Like, pic and caption is where I'm at. How about you? How do you use media right now?
Pretty much connections. I like to keep in touch with a lot of people.
You do.
And I have families all over, and I have a lot of friends all over. And that's how I keep in touch, through social media, Facebook, as well as Instagram now, mostly heavily on the Instagram.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Before it was just daily things, but now it is moments. I'm very much on posting great moments in my life, like the many trips I've taken. Or just...
She's a travel bug.
I
like,
am a
anytime... I mean, we know this about Tal from season 1, but anytime she could get her hands on a ticket, you will do it.
Don't tell me twice.
Yeah. Don't tempt the dragon, because she'll come for you.
It's so funny because like recently a friend of mine was like, I don't know, we should book this trip. I literally booked it after half an hour. She booked hers. I was like, don't even tell me twice. She's like, bitch, you booked it? I booked it.
Oh, that's the trip you're taking in August?
Yeah. Yes. So I was just like, yeah, I booked it. She was like, you did it so quick. I was like, yeah, you don't have to tempt me with a good time. But I like to, those major moments, and not for nothing, I use stories as well as highlights.
You do a lot of stories.
I do a lot of stories and highlights. But that's because it's 24 hours and it's gone. But the highlights and the posting, low-key, I use it more for storage, okay? Because they store all my photos in those major moments. I don't want to store it in my phone sometimes. Sometimes I want to delete it.
That makes no sense.
A lot of the things I do delete. And then
just pay $1 for storage.
No, I already pay $1. That's the thing. There's not enough storage. But I pretty much use it like that. And I don't use any of the, I don't know, the new thing now, threads.
Yeah,
I don't do threads. Like those extra shits, like Twitter type things, I'm all right.
We're too old for that.
That's not for me. I'm good with the posting and the stories. But it's only major moments. And that's pretty much it. Mm-hmm. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Now, with that said, how do you think that impacts your relationships? So it can be a varied type of relationships, right? But how do you think that impacts your relationships with like family or friends or situationships, or even pursuing an actual relationship, like a serious one?
I think friendship, family, it goes because you keep each other connected, especially when you have family all scattered all over the world. And that's, for me, it's the best part of social media. Mm-hmm. The second one, when it comes to relationships, I think it's great to show those moments, but I feel like something so innocent can just turn so negative very quickly. And maybe this is just superstitious for me.
Are you fearful to some degree of what you post?
When it comes to me, no, not really.
I mean, like in this pursuit of
but when it comes to that,
are you cautious?
Very much so now.
Oh, wow.
Very much so now. I think before, I've never really had the opportunity to do that. I just felt like with my previous partners, I never pretty much had the inclination of posting them until my last relationship that I actually posted a lot of them. And again, I was genuinely happy at that moment, so I had no problem, showing that side of my life.
Sharing the love bug that you were.
Yeah, because, you want to show the happy moments.
Yeah, people like seeing people happy for the most part.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I got to disagree with that one. Not all the time.
Yeah.
And I learned that the hard way. There's a lot of people looking and a lot of people wishing us bad. And, to their degree, they went on that. And that's why I'm very, very hesitant now for the next relationship I'll have. That's not the route I want to go. So, again, it's not for everybody, but it's a lesson learned that I know for me. And that's, in a way, impact me a bit when it comes to relationships in that point. It's funny because I literally remember making a post, and it was a post of just me, and I would get 60 to 80 plus likes. And then all of a sudden I post with my partner, and I would get like half of less than 20.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. And I noticed that
Oh my
type of things
God.
and small little things like that. I'm just like, oh, good to know. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
To know. But, and it's funny because a lot of the people that AKA support us or knew about us or whatever and have hung out with us would be the ones that wouldn't even bother liking it. And for some reason, as even though you don't want to, like, I don't know, count on the likes, but sometimes it kind of shows you a little bit where everyone's at.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that was going to be my next question. Like, do you even look at likes? Because for me, likes, I don't care. I like to know that people are liking my posts, but I'm not there counting so-and-so or looking at who. I just like knowing that people like my shit. That's it.
Same, but
I'm not like so detailed.
It's only specific ones. Mm-hmm. So when I say, let's say I've noticed that quick discrepancy of how many likes I get of a solo picture as opposed to one with a partner, I instantly see, I was like, that's interesting. You would think your friends would
that's kind of rude.
you, and then you would see the ones who have and the ones who don't. Mm-hmm. And I instantly saw that. And in my head, I'm just like, okay, that's odd. Interesting. I'm going to take note of it. But that's interesting. But then, like, everything else of just other things with me. But not with my partner. Not with this. Not with that. And mind you, that's supposed to be a good friend.
Yeah.
So I take that in, and not that you should look into it, but I think you should in a way. It just shows you where people are at sometimes. I guess, that's just me thinking like that.
So what I'm hearing is that you're saying the impact can be on how your friends receive your media postings. Is that what you mean?
I think so.
Right? So it can determine how, essentially, it's almost measuring your friendship, right? To a certain degree.
But nowadays, I feel like with social media, as social media changes, people change. People do change, Karen. And you notice in the smallest
just government named
thing.
Me.
You noticed in the little small actions of people.
That I agree in. I just don't know. I understand what you mean, and maybe I just take it with a grain of salt because
Perhaps.
I honestly don't really think about it. Like, I'm not saying you're doing this, but I honestly don't post things to get people's traction. I literally just post because I want, and sometimes people will like it, and sometimes people won't.
For sure.
I can give two shits. Like, I will post what I'm eating one day or what I'm cooking one night. Normally now it's like what I cook because I think that I can show the world what I cook in my kitchen. But, it's something that I thoroughly enjoy doing. I don't necessarily think about it in that, oh, X person hasn't necessarily liked my post, and I don't know. I think the impact that media has had on me specifically or my relationships, it does let you know, I'm going to be straight, who's petty and who's not. Like, some people are really petty, and if they're not good with you, then they're not liking your post.
Facts. But that's measuring.
And there are people who are, even when they're pissed at you, they'll like your post, right? Or people who don't talk to you all the time. So, I don't know. I feel like, yes, it is determining, but at the same time, how it impacts me as an individual, I give no shits. Flat out.
Agreed.
I don't know if I take action based off of how people like my post. I think it's just like a mental no. I don't act on it, or there's no consequence of that happening with me. But At the end of the day, I'm like, I'm going to live my life whether you like it or not. And I'm going to, if you don't like me, then mute me. Apparently, you can mute people. I didn't even know you could do that until like last month.
That's my favorite fucking feature.
A lot of people use that because people get petty. No disrespect, but people get really petty about, she's not vibing with me, mute. She pissed me off and we're not good, mute. He deaded me for one date, mute. Like, I don't.
No, that's delete.
Okay, delete. But muting is the same thing, right? Like, or you just, I don't even know what muting is. You cannot see that person's feed.
Yeah.
I
Still
see.
a follower.
So if you want to mute me, for instance, you won't see my feed, but you'll still have me on your friend list.
Correct.
I see. Okay, I didn't even know. And then the opposite of that would just be to block, right? Where you just totally exile me from your account.
Pretty much.
I see. Okay. Well, yeah, either way, I don't know how impactful it is for me because I use media as a creative source for things that I like doing. But I certainly post less now than before, but I do like posting specific things. I'm very cautious with what I post because I want to be inclusive of everyone in my life. So I just created a reel for all three of us when we went to Argentina, you, me, and Pabs. And I thought it was a really fun video. And it was like really nice music, this and that. It was like very heartfelt. And I got a lot of positive feedback on it. And I was like, hey, thanks. Love the comment. Thanks. I was just saying thanks left and right.
But it's nice to see the love.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I get that. I don't know if I'm cautious about who looks at my post. Not even with family. Like, I don't know if I'm cautious about that.
Let's be honest. You be looking, someone didn't like it.
Stories more than posts. Posts, I feel like, are treated differently because they're like stamps of your life.
Exactly.
Stories are maybe so much more fixated in that because it's 24 hours, I want to see who's checking.
Right.
It's almost like a mind fuck, right? Because you're like, well, it's 24 hours, so look who didn't look at my story, myself included, right? I'm like, such person didn't look, and she's online or he's online, right?
I'll be honest.
I don't know. Be honest.
I actually found more post likings, much more what I look for as opposed to stories. I don't give a fuck if you look at my story. That's for me and that's for my archive. But to me, when it comes to posting like certain things, you know, like, I don't know, your wedding and people don't like it, that's a problem. Not for nothing. It's like, really? So why the fuck are you a friend? Not for nothing. Personally, for me, I
was an MOH and you don't like my post?
I did say that. Bitch, I did a whole post about you and I didn't even get acknowledged.
It's not that. I was fucking busy.
But see, that's something, that's how you see it. It's not how a lot of people see it, including myself. In my head, I'm just like, you know, I really want to show my love and my appreciation and that I'm your MOH and again, a happy moment in your life. Regardless.
I'll be straight with you. The
support.
fact that you even said it out loud to me, I was like, what does it matter? Like, I gave you all the you were with me this whole
I
time.
understand that. But
What does
still, fuck it. It's
Instagram
just
have?
hard.
Like, what does Instagram have on you that you need acknowledgement with just a little heart?
I guess the
what does
person
it
that
matter?
I post about.
I don't know. I honestly don't see it that way. Yes, was it uncommon for me to unlike that post? I guess, but I was also coming back and doing a bunch of shit. Like,
No,
and I
for
was
sure.
also hella exhausted. Like, and then as soon as I posted and I saw it and I'm like, I'm going to respond. X, Y, and Z things happen, and it just didn't happen that day. And the heifer came into my DM and was like, what, you didn't see it?
No. You know, what? No.
Yes, you did. You came into my DM. And then on top of that, we spoke about it, and you're like, what, you didn't look at it? You know what? Cheers to our executive producers who are making themselves known in the background.
What's up, guys?
But in all seriousness, I honestly, it just didn't that's the wrong way to put it. But it wasn't necessarily something that I saw as an urgent matter to address. And I'm like,
Understood.
I know that she knows that I love her, and I know that she knows that I will answer. It will happen. It will happen, people. It will happen. It just didn't for whatever reason. There was a lot of shit going on during the month of August. And, you know, I get it. And then it would be worse because then if I liked it after, then you're like, wow. So I had to tell you to like it, and that's why you liked it. I knew what you were going to tell me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the L. I really do love and appreciate the fact that you're my MOH. Who's going to say no? You were literally my backbone this entire time. So I get it. I get it. Did you really have to use that example, though?
What do you mean? You and I were the only ones that even posted about the wedding.
Yeah.
Just have to acknowledge that I was there. My only thing is, like, you need to be there for your friends and support them in their, in their little small things. And like I said, if I'm really happy for you, trust me, I'm going to show it.
I get that.
I'm going to show it.
I get that.
So, you know what I mean? Like, if you post any reels, I'm going to support it. My only thing is, like, certain things like that, I feel like, you know what? I see it. I acknowledge you. Cool. Keep doing what you're doing. Like, but you know.
How?
So that's kind of how I see it, right? Like, if a friend is posting her trips, I'm like, oh, great place, honey. You know, whatever. Keep doing you. I love to see that you're traveling. I love to see that you're thriving.
Yeah, I
That's
get
how
that.
I see it.
And
right?
there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
I just feel like
that's
the
just
fact that you receive it wrong in that I don't automatically like your post is
True.
the ish.
You
Like, that's the problem.
You might see it wrong, but
it hurt your feelings.
of course, because I don't give a fuck about a lot. Okay, I don't.
If Child's
But
IG
if
is
I'm
all about
gonna-
her, and
but-
then it's like the one post that she did about me.
Exactly.
I didn't like it.
That's fucking real estate.
Yeah.
But
I signed my death sentence a little closer with not liking that. And it wasn't like I did it intentionally. I really didn't. There was a lot of shit going on. But the point is,
for sure.
the point is, I acknowledged it, and I'm like, girl, we need to get past this. And we agreed to disagree.
Mm-hmm.
This was one of those times where we agreed to disagree, and that's
Which
okay.
is fine.
You know, so she got her own post when you got your birthday post. I did a birthday post about you last year in your blue suit. Do you remember that?
No.
Okay. Clearly you were fucking drunk.
That was-
Okay. And then now
Go
in
on.
Argentina when we just took
Yes,
a trip
the real.
together. So I hope you appreciate it. There was a lot of pictures of you.
What did I do?
You just liked it. You didn't comment.
I didn't comment.
And you also didn't give me a regular comment on the daily. That was weird.
What do you mean?
You didn't tell me, oh my God, I love it. I just said, hey guys, please.
I saw the preview, so I already loved it when I saw it originally, when you gave me the draft.
Oh, that wasn't the same one. It was totally different.
I know it was different, but I liked it still.
Okay. Yeah.
Regardless, I knew you were going to do a great video.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at reeling.
You are.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, not to randomly cut things off, but, you know, definitely media impacts you, obviously, when it comes to, like, your people, your core, 100%.
100%.
I think you may not necessarily be seeking attention, but you always want to, it's almost like a weird, cynical affirmation of my people are looking out for me. And when that doesn't happen, you're like, well, what's up? You know? Or at least you kind of start questioning yourself, like, why aren't you looking at my shit? Are we mad? Do we have bad blood? Like, what's going on? Which is exactly what happened between us. And even though I may have not thought of it like a huge deal, for Tal it really was. Or at least she was like, bitch, I mean, I don't post about anybody. So the fact that I'm posting about you specifically and you can't even, like, is a ish. So I get it. You know, and speaking of that whole how media changes, do you feel like you've changed with media or that media has changed with you? It's almost like a coin toss, right? Like, how do you really perceive media in that way?
I hate to say it, but I know I've changed with media.
Thanks for admitting. Go ahead.
Yo. Yeah.
I'll give you shit. I'll give you shit. Let's just do it outright.
I know that I have changed with media.
You're a trend you're a trend follower. You follow trends. You're like, you know all the trends on IG. I don't.
What, like story and post?
No, but like you get creative with like you know what's best out there. Like Tal is so in the media in that she sends me like endless reels about shit. When we were traveling to Argentina, she already had like an itinerary because she saw it on IG.
Word, it's research.
Yeah, like you do a lot of research, so you're so in the trend of things is what I'm saying.
Yeah, in that aspect, yes.
Not like creatively, I'm going to do this template for this kind of reel. No. In the sense that you're using media as an outlet of research, and I think it's really nice. I totally don't. I just like scroll up and whatever comes on, I just literally look at it.
Yeah. No, personally for me, I do like a lot of research when it comes to certain things.
I think that's cool.
Like when I do like, you're right, like traveling, products, everything. Like before I buy something, I kind of want to see if anybody did a review of it. And that's
what do you call TikTok?
TikTok University.
Yeah.
At this point.
And TikTok, she says, is her new Google.
It is my new Google. Because when you want to see something, you just go there. They tried a new restaurant, or they.
That's so true. Yeah.
We look.
People
at those
are
things.
also really into media. I mean, so you can just get like one and all ratings from people.
I went out this past weekend, and when I remember with a friend of mine, we went looking at TikTok to see the best cafes, let's say in Soho, and we were able to find these odd-looking cafes that I probably would not have. I would pretty much scroll by and Google or Yelp, and it was just really nice to see the decor. And then we were a couple of blocks away, and we discovered a new place. And I love doing that with social media, using that platform to discover a new location or a new mom and pop shop. Or a new design store, anything, those small things is what I absolutely love using it for. And that's kind of what I use social media most for.
Yeah. And so do you feel like you change with media?
I think you have to at one point because you need to catch up with the times.
I see that.
I understand. I'm not saying that you have to change your whole persona. That's not what I'm saying. I think you just kind of have to go with the times and use it best for you, right? Like I use media to find certain things for me, like researching restaurants, traveling tips, or looking at products, reviews, or something like that within that element, even looking for clothes. And, posting major moments in my life for storage, honestly. And just keeping up and keeping connected with a lot of family members. Because every time I post a story or something like that, I always get family from other places. Like, oh my God, so good today. Like recently I just posted my dog's birthday. Cute little shit.
Shiloh.
And then I had family from other cities, and they were like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long. How you been? How are you doing? And like instantly we just connect and have a conversation. So it does like spark those type of conversations, and that's what I enjoy media for. But I think I had to learn how to kind of do that in order for me to. I feel like you have to learn how to use media the right way. And even though technology is constantly changing, I know you have to evolve with it, but you have to evolve with it that it's beneficial for you and your growth and your mission, your journey, so it doesn't come off as a negative. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I didn't use that before. I think when I was younger, looking at social media, following the fucking K's in life, you start comparing yourself. And that, I remember being in that headspace and just comparing everybody to the IG models and stuff like that. It really does fuck up your mind. But honestly, once you remove yourself from that mindset and just start enjoying yourself, enjoying your life, everything else seems whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I'm finally feel like I am now using social media. I don't really see it as a negative as I did before. I now use it for my benefits. Now it's very beneficial for me, like the many reasons I mentioned before. Mm-hmm. So, yes.
Yeah. So interesting. I don't know if I change with media or if media changes with me. I think to a certain degree, media change. My usage of media changes with me. In that, as the years have progressed, I've only necessarily used media to post like memories or impactful moments, is what I call them, like my wedding or like my bachelorette or like my mom's birthday or Pablo's birthday. Like, it's just really to have a stamp of like the most important things that happen in my life. I don't know if I necessarily change with media, but what I do know is that media does change with us in the sense that its usage is quite different. So like before, for instance, when I was a teenager, I would post where I was eating lunch, the subway, where I was going out with my family, my friends. Like, it was a daily stamp of my routine. And now it's just like my hobbies, right? So media, my usage has changed in that way, in that I'm not necessarily documenting every second of my daily routine, but rather it's just the things that I really like and enjoy, like cooking, going to travel. So I have like a specific highlight for all the places that I've traveled, right? And I just sort of collect all the stories that I did there. But it's not necessarily an outlet of research for me. I actually just enjoy scrolling. I'm just like scroll. Just whatever comes on. I'm like, do I like? No, move. You know, like I don't use it for research at all, actually. And I'm actually quite amazed at how Talia got our routine for Argentina just on IG and TikTok. It was both. And she was able to craft this whole itinerary and experience for us. And I'm like, wow, I didn't have to do any homework, you know, like she did it all. And it was really just at her looking for these Yelp reviews or these IG reviews of what people think, what people thought, what particular pastry I had to get from an X bakery in Argentina, you know, or like, where did we have to go and eat? What vantage point did we have to look at? You know, the obelisco, which was the main monument in Argentina. Like, it was so profound and like so focused that I'm like, we don't have to do any work. We just have to go to this corner on this street, and like we created a map, and at some point it got made our trip so easy, I think, to a certain degree. But I think definitely your media usage changes with you. In terms of trends, I don't know. I don't even know if I know the media trends. Like, TikTok was open for a very long time, and Doll kept like sending me TikTok messages or videos to my text message because I didn't have an account until I opened an account, and now it's banned. So what the fuck? Like, I'm so late. I don't follow the media trends, but that actually happened with you too, right? Like, a friend started using TikTok, I believe you said, and then you started using it, and then I started using it. So I think you're right. You are very good at networking. Like, networking is probably one of your strong suits. And in media and outside of media, Tal will make friends with someone at a random bar or at a random bakery or at a random restaurant, and they'll be friends like for a while, you know? So I don't have that trait. I'm very selective, but I think Tal is just so much more approachable than I. You even got stopped on the train.
I did.
Yeah, because of your mate bag. So
I did.
if you didn't watch that, go ahead and watch the bonus episode in season 1, because we talk about that and how someone approached you for having like a specific bag to carry her mate from Argentina. So, you know, it's just those moments that I feel like you use media so skillfully, as opposed to me. I'm on the train and I'm like, no one talk to me. Like, I'm just in my zone.
Yeah, so true though.
I am. I'm like, no one talk to me. I don't want to see any. I literally face the door. Like, it's a serious thing. And you very much use it as a point of connection. Like, I have extended family and I just connect with them over comments. You know, it's a different approach, right? Where your family will very much be like, hey, oh my God, good to see you. Love Shiloh, her pup, or love to see you and your mom here. Love that you're
Yeah.
traveling. Like,
Oh,
she
yeah.
has a very big community. So I think it just depends on the type of person and the type of community you have. And that may determine how media follows you or how you follow it.
Yeah.
I think it very much determines on that. But what's your opinion on like the preview of what you get on media? So for instance, let's say you're in a pursuit, you're a single gal, you're trying to, you know, see, you like what you see, or even with friends, right? Like how, when you look at a profile, what do you look for? What are like the core things that you notice right off the bat?
Oh man.
It may be a loaded question, but
It's definitely a loaded question because not for nothing, and I think I've learned this many times, you can never judge a book by its cover. And I feel like Instagram is a cover, especially a profile. And depending on what they post. Now, if it's stupid shit, like, I don't know.
what's considered stupid? Or not stupid, but what's considered
If all of them
animated?
are memes,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
if it's all just meme and it's funny, yeah, haha. But it does not. It doesn't show me much about you.
I'm mad you just said it like that.
Like, it doesn't show much. I think I met someone that just had memes, and like I remember just trying to find a photo, and I had to scroll like years just to find one. I think when
That may be weird.
it is a bit weird, so it kind of turned me off a little bit because I didn't know what this person looked like, and I remember this person just DM me and something like that, and I'm just like, okay. I don't even know who you are.
You know what triggers me? When people don't have their profile pic as their profile pic. Like, when they have like, unless it's like an actual creative page. So for instance, the NSJM page has the NSJM logo on it,
That makes
right?
sense. But if you
'Cause
look at our
like,
post,
we're like an entity at this point. But like, you know, when someone like Joe Smith has like a cat. Like,
come on, Joe.
that's like my only ick with media. It's
that's
insane.
A profile. You know what I mean? That's a profile. I kind of need.
Yeah, like
to
I don't want to see your fucking cat, bro,
Exactly, fuck
or
your cat.
any random like Getty image from Google. I hate those. Oh, they trigger me so bad.
I don't, and I get it, and I wouldn't mind if anything. But if then I see your profile and there's nothing of you, doesn't show me any personality or any interest or nothing. I'm gonna a bit refrain from that a little bit until I guess I meet you in person.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that, but not for nothing. It does show. It is the first impression nowadays because I feel like Instagram is now being used as a dating app. In a form, not entirely, but.
I think to a certain degree it is. I think
yeah.
it's like the prospect of meeting someone. You need to know what they look like in their pajamas or what they look like on a random Tuesday or what happens if they don't have a lot of posts. How do you perceive that, right?
Or not a lot of friends.
And or is it too much? Like, do people like pee
No.
and shit and then they post it? You know what I mean? This is really exaggerated, but there's many people who post every single day, and I'm just like, it's a bit much. So how do you perceive that? And I think you're absolutely right. I mean, at least for me, and call me old fashioned, if you will, but I literally scroll to the bottom. Anytime I look at a brand new profile pic, I scroll through the bottom, all the way to the bottom. I don't even care how many posts they have, but this is just me being nosy. I scroll all the way to the bottom, and I start from the beginning. I'm like, oh, when did they join? Oh, they were this age, this. And it's just to really get to know the person.
Yeah, it's just snippets.
I've never done that. I haven't done that in a long time. But I remember doing that actually when I met Pabs.
Did you really?
I did, because I didn't know anything about him. So I was just like, listen.
He's a prof.
No, and then you want to know, he wasn't a prof yet. But what I realized is that he had like 4 posts. And I'm like, this is a sus ass dude. Like, I don't know who he is. I couldn't figure him out. And then it led to a really nice conversation of, I need to get to know you because your socials don't tell me much about you. Not that I'm expecting for you to like put every goal or every day on it, but at least a general sense of like things that you like to do. Like, for instance, I have a lot of family on there, but before that I had a lot of like scenery things because I would always be out working at the time. So I had like a lot of gardens and a lot of buildings of Manhattan, which is quite traditional because I used to work there. I used to be outside more often. Nowadays, I get out of the train, I get to the building, that's it. Like, there's no content going on there. But in due moment, at least he was able to get a sense of the things that I like to do, which is be outdoors, be in the city at the time. I don't know, go adventuring. I put a lot about my trips because even when I met him, I was already traveling. So, you know, you get a general sense of who the person is. But if it's like weird and there's only like 3 or 4 posts, I'm like, wait, red flag. You know, like what's going on? Or maybe how unusual. Now, I don't want to discredit the people who really feel personal about media and they don't like posting, aka my husband. Like, he's like, I don't need to post my every fart. You know what I mean? He really just wants to... What?
No, but like,
Well, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't want to post every step of his life. He's like, I live with you. We do adventuring together. I'm solid. You know, he doesn't really rely on posting a lot on media. And not that I do, but I definitely like doing it more than he. So I think it's just a preferential thing. But getting back to the whole point, I actually just scroll down to the end of the list. And then I just kind of work my way up. And then I just really skim just to see what the person is about. And that goes for friends and even, you know, random people. Like if I see a vlogger or if I see someone who has like, in my case, like a cooking page, I'll just like scroll all the way. It's kind of my way of getting to know the person from the beginning to date. So that way I get a sense of who they are, what kind of content they have. And you're right. Like things like memes or unless you have a motivational channel, if you're posting like quotes and stuff, it just is very derailing because it would be nice. It's nice to read. But at the same time, I'm like, I kind of want to know who you are, like what you look like.
agreed.
If you have family. I don't know. It's
Just,
weird.
do you like something?
Yeah, just whatever.
It's very hard.
It's very
sometimes.
subjective.
It's very
yeah.
subjective, and I know like as much as you try to avoid judging a book by its cover, you are. I don't want to, but sometimes, you know, a profile does say a lot. And at the same time, you know, I now personally find, like, let's say if I remember not too long ago, I got DM'd just to go out.
Someone slid into your DMs.
Right. And I remember this person asking
Get
me.
it.
I remember this person asking me for my number. And I was like, nah, too intimate.
Wow.
A number is now, having you in my contact is now too intimate for me. But you could have my Instagram and I can have yours and we'll just go from there. And if I meet you in person and the vibe is good and everything's going well, after our first meetup, second meetup, and then maybe I can give you my number. I feel like nowadays having my number is just too personal. Now I'm having you another degree into my life. Now you're going to be on my
bone to pick. So does that mean that your Instagram is kind of like your new phone number? You know what I mean? Like it's the first point of contact.
It's stage 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's my now new stage 1.
What if they don't? Oh, well, that would be stupid. I would say, what if they don't have Instagram? Like, what if you meet someone and they don't have IG? Is that weird? Is that a red flag?
Is that a red flag? In a bit. Maybe you're hiding something. Or maybe you don't want to be found. Why you don't want to be found? You know what I mean? Are you hiding from somebody because you did somebody wrong? Like, you do this whole novella in your whole head.
That's just women.
And that's just women.
Women have, let's just say it how it is.
But you start thinking like that, not for nothing, because not for everybody has a little bit of knowledge. Even though I have cousins that don't have social media, but they're like, oh, all right, well, they'll just have it. I'm like, yeah, no one knows who you are. Chill. Like, you're married, you're fine. No one's gonna care. Okay. But
I'm married. Espérate. People give a fuck about my post.
No, but I just remember like she was so
Don't put me in that.
No, I didn't put you there, but I'm like she was very like so anti posting or whatever. I'm like, you don't have to post, but let's say if like something's wrong with your phone or whatever, and we need to connect with you or whatever. Just this is a good source to have.
That is true.
Just to have. I'm not saying to post all your fucking life. It's all right, but another way of connecting with you, let's say if we're in a different city or we all move, because a lot of our family members do spread around and move around. It's the only way we keep connected, and the only reason like I'm connected with a lot of family is through social media, and
this is so true.
This is how it's always been, and it has worked magically for me because I don't have numbers. Sometimes there are numbers in other countries because there's a lot of fees with that. So we'll communicate through Instagram or we communicate through Facebook or even WhatsApp. So
yeah, WhatsApp is definitely but you need their number.
So sometimes you don't have their number, so you just have their profile, and that's at least your first form of contact. And that's kind of how I see it. But nowadays, even when it comes into meeting new people and dating new people, Instagram is not my first stage of contact until I guess I like you or just even feel like you've passed stage one, then I can have you on my phone, and then we'll see what goes from there.
So if someone is like, hey, I want to take you out random, and let's just say, because I think now you can DM someone without even being their friend, right? You can. So what happens when you get a DM, even if it's someone that knows you, like a friend of a friend kind of thing? Mm-hmm. What happens when they contact you and they're like, hey, I'd really like to take you out, yada, yada, yada. Do you genuinely, like, at that point, send them a friend request? Or, like...
First, we have a conversation.
What's the protocol? I don't know. I don't do this kind of stuff, so I don't know.
I recently just went through it. So, no, first I had a conversation.
Give me the workflow.
First, we have a conversation. How do you get this? First of all, how did you come in contact with me? How did you find my profile? What led you to write this?
A little bit of sass.
Just to know where
what do you
like
about this?
Right? And kind of just feel the person out. And then if we have a cool conversation for at least, I guess, a couple of minutes or even half an hour, then we'll then exchange friend requests, and then we'll look at each other's profile. Now, if I like what I see, then I'll continue to have a conversation. If he likes what I see, I'm pretty sure he's going to continue the conversation. So then I remember once we had our conversation and a friend request and everything, and then, like, oh, can I have your number? No, I don't know yet. I remember specifically saying, let's see how dinner goes. And then
that's solid.
You can't just give your number randomly out to anyone. Are you kidding me?
I get that. I don't know. So, I guess I just don't see it as. Then again, I'm married, so like I've been out of the dating phase. But I know me and my husband met at work.
Organically.
So no, but it was at work. So like we both knew each other's numbers, I think, to a certain degree. But I guess I understand that that's like the foundation of getting to know you is IG first, and then it will merge to a meet cute or some sort of meetup, and then number exchange. That makes total sense, actually.
It's just protocol.
And it's also protection for
Absolutely.
Like yourself.
It's protocol, it's protection. Have you heard the stories out here?
Yeah, this is true.
And not
People
for
are
nothing,
crazy.
Like, and this is why I'm not even on apps at all. The last two partners I've had in my life, which, I've met them organically. And that's how I actually prefer to meet people. Mm-hmm. I don't want to meet them through apps. The last thing I want to do is meet you through an app. It's not my preference. And this is why I don't even bother with that. So when I meet, and this is why I like to go out, I like to travel and hang out with friends and stuff like that, because you start meeting people. Yeah. That's why we go to bars, we go to do this, and, meet up, have a great friend group. And then that's how I like to meet people. Vibes are vibes. Absolutely. And that's how I like to do it. And that's why when somebody randomly, and even though they know me from a friend, just all of a sudden hits you up, it's a little sus, but I'm still going to put protocols and protection and boundaries with that. I'm not just going to let anybody enter and have straight access with me. It's going to take a minute for you to even get to the point where you want to get with me. That's not, it's just like, oh yeah, sure, come on in. No. Okay.
So before I move on to the next question, I kind of just want to also pick your brain about what are like the green flags of IG. Like we said some red flags like not enough posts, no IG, or not natural feed, like individual feed. So what are some of the green flags that you would say?
In someone's profile?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like, I love to see people doing what they love to do, right? Now I see people, especially meeting new people, like they like to travel, they like to do their own hobbies, or just doing their things that they love to do with family and stuff like that. Like you just genuinely see somebody just living their life. And I'm just like, that's really beautiful to see. Or someone promoting their business and they have it into their bio and be like, listen, I'm this, but then I have passions here, there, and there. And then I'm like, okay, good. I love somebody that's also ambitious and very like, putting themselves out there, putting their business out there. Like I understand now with Instagram, and we're even using it ourselves. It's also for networking, but also promoting your projects.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Seeing people doing that the same way we pretty much got inspired to promote our project. It's good to see because, you're doing more out there for you. And I know they're not doing it for anybody else, but for them. And to see someone in their element and their passion and just genuinely just trying to better themselves and putting themselves out there with their project, it's great to see. And I really do love that in someone's profile.
I say for sure a green flag is when you find commonality. So let's say you like to travel and you look at this guy's page and he loves to travel. Green flag. So like commonalities is a green flag. The other thing that's a green flag is an actual profile pic. So I don't want to see a cat. I want to see you. It doesn't matter what it is, right? It can be a friend. It can be someone you're trying to pursue. It doesn't really matter. Like your own profile pic, check. Green flag. I think I personally love to see a combination of different types of feeds. So not just posts, but I like to see reels. I also like to see stories. So kind of have like a full portfolio, if you will, on IG. And I get some people aren't necessarily so well versed, but definitely a green flag if you know how to use technology. Because to a certain degree, I'm so technology driven. Like I mostly text. My husband and I are very technology driven, I think, as a couple. But in general, our jobs, have us be technology driven. So we're very much in the know about how to do this, how to do that. And so someone else who has that same intention, green flag, right? You're right. Also, like family is really important. Even as a friend, like if you only post bathroom pics of yourself, not as interesting as you like skiing down such mountain or going on a travel, time with your friends. Like, I don't know, like give me actual content that I can look and appreciate. Not that I can't appreciate your bathroom pics, but like if I one or two, I'm good. I don't know about like 10. You know what I mean? Like,
or your entire post being the same post. That irks me.
Is that an ick?
That's an ick.
Yeah. Okay.
When it's the same picture in different pose in the same place.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong about having the same pose. I just feel like
I don't mind one or two. I mind the entire post.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again,
yeah.
that's preference.
Yeah, and so you kind of get a general sense of who the person is, right? But definitely green flag is like the multi or the diversity of use in the IG or in the Instagram specifically, or in your TikTok, right? Like whatever you're into. The new wave is definitely TikTok, and I don't even know if Snapchat is a thing anymore. But I don't know. I don't care.
Snapchat is so before pandemic.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know why that shit still exists. But there's a lot of young people that actually still use that.
Yeah, Gen Z.
Yeah, I'm alright.
Or millennials. So
it's not for me.
Instagram is it. Everyone has like their wave. So Gen Z is all about TikTok. I think to a certain degree, like Tumblr and maybe Twitter. Tumblr's like it's like a weird IG. Anyway.
I'm alright.
But so it's definitely a green flag to find commonalities, have like your actual profile pic, and what else did I say? and have like a full portfolio, or to not full in that you have to have like 50 posts or something, but like a roundabout of you using this tool. I don't know. Like Facebook is weird in that you can only make posts and now stories, but IG really gives you the diversity of doing reels, posts, highlights, things like that. So it's just all about engagement too. I want to be engaged in your profile. If I'm not engaged,
Yeah.
I'm like, to us, move on.
Tell me a little bit about you.
Yeah, right? Like it's not
That's
that hard.
It's not really, we're not asking for socials and shit.
No.
Just want to see if you and I can vibe.
Yeah. And, you know, speaking of it, right? So we talked about green flags, red flags. Let's talk a little bit about like misconceptions or like myths of Instagram or media in general, because what Tal said was really real in that Instagram is kind of like the new dating app, right? Like you network through this platform. You look at everyone's feed, or you look at the person who you want to pursue, their feed. And if you like what you see, great. But if you don't like what you see, you start becoming like a little investigator, right? Of what are they doing? Why is this here? Why is this not here? So let's talk about misconceptions of how people use online dating. I mean, online
Just in
media.
general.
Yeah.
Social media. I think a misconception is, and I've heard a lot of people say this, if just stop posting less and live your life.
Mm-hmm.
I find that as a misconception because, first of all, not for nothing, if I post less, does that make me happy? No, it does not. How I see it is that you need to be happy in your real life and you need to be happy in social media life. It just
That's an interesting point of view.
You just can't show that you're just happy in social media and absolutely crumbling and depressed in your actual life. That to me don't go well. And that's when you start using social media for the negative. You're showing off things that is really not going on in your life. You're showing things that it's not projecting from your own life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when people say, well, you should just exit social media and just do you. Well, perhaps. I think in some forms it does help. I can't say that it's for me. I'm both happy in my real life and I'm also happy in my social media life when it comes to like posting my moments in life and stuff like that.
You post happy moments.
I hope post happy moments. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna post sad moments. And don't get me wrong, it's not like shit's going on. That shit's not going on behind the scenes, of course. But genuinely, I'm really happy in my life that I'm gonna project that, and that's why I'm gonna support. You know, yeah, not that I post any quotes, but like I just project happiness. I don't project any negatives because that's not even my motto.
Yeah, I think you're generally a positive person.
Yeah. But that thing, like when people just say like, oh, you know, people who don't post are the ones living their life. You don't even know that. I think that's a misconception. I think a lot of people who don't post, they might be going through stuff. You don't even know. And again, I'm not saying that this is how I use social media. So for me, if I'm not feeling it, then I'm not really going to be promoting that. I know I'm rambling, but
No, it's fine. I'll let you say your piece.
I don't know. I just see it that way. I think it's a misconception of telling people to get offline. I feel like people just don't know how to use social media correctly to benefit them. And they might use it for a negative. Like a lot of people can compare themselves to this age and any age at this point, and they can depress themselves, and that's why they don't post anything or they don't want to do anything. But then they rely on that.
I think the misconception is that media in general is a lie. Honestly, it's not. So
No, it's not.
many people use it to like catfish people and to project happiness when indeed they may not be in that space, or project darkness when they maybe in fact not be in that space. I don't know. There are so many facades that are done in media. I also think there's a very original and genuine way of media in what we do, right? I don't know. I would never post like a lie. You know, and
for what?
Why? I don't know. I don't get that, but That's me. I post moments, and even before when I was not doing so great, I really enjoyed posting the media that I did because it was about me and my daily routine. I would never post, me in a dark cloud. Like, that's weird. I would just post on the days that I felt more creative and more inclined to post of happy moments. I don't know. I feel the misconception that media is a lie is false. It definitely is a misconception because most of the time it's genuine, especially for people like us or those of you who are posting about hobbies or about different activities or vloggers. Like, all of that is genuine, especially when you become transparent about those dark days. Like, that is genuine in its fullest form. I actually was looking up a list of misconceptions of media, specifically pertaining to like dating and stuff, because a lot of what we often know is probably a misconception. So here we go. And you tell me if I'm wrong or right, or if how you feel about these two. Online dating or general online media is only for hookups. How do you feel about that?
I hate to say it, but yes.
Okay.
Which is why I always lean for organically.
Okay. How about online dating is for desperate people?
I'm going to say yes or no. But mostly...
Like torn in the middle kind of thing?
It is torn in the middle because I know genuinely people are just looking for connection, and I know they don't go out much and they don't put... they don't really put themselves out there. So I guess they try to look for a connection online. Don't get me wrong. I've done that route as well. Wasn't really successful. But then I know there's people that just want to be with somebody ASAP. But again, I'm torn in the middle.
How about couples who meet online don't last?
Yes and no.
I'm right in the middle.
I'm right in the middle with that.
I feel like it's true for some and not true for others.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. How about online dating requires too much work?
Absolutely.
How so?
There's again, so with the profile pictures let's say in an app, and then trying to keep up with the photos and keep up answering questions and stuff like that, it does take a minute because you rather want to say that to the person in the face. Like, you rather want to have a one-on-one conversation, but you have to constantly keep writing and trying to portray your personality through text messages, especially when you have to text through the app in order to get a date. It's just a lot of work sometimes. And then just creating the profile is already a lot of work. Holy mo! With all the questions and then the photo to match it, and then you have to say something witty in order for them to even get a response. It is a lot of work, especially if you have multiple profiles. Again,
you're right.
This is why just grab a girl, grab some friends, go outside, and go meet people out there.
But media does help. So it's almost like it does help. I think it helps you understand who the person is about, not necessarily as that's their card of presentation, but rather it helps you understand who the person is. And I think it helps you to make that first move. Like, I find it as a tool. So for instance, some of our friends even aren't very much into media and some of them aren't. And I think for those that aren't, they pursue people genuinely and organically, but sometimes things just don't work out that way either. So like, they rely on media as like a second source of dating, and it's not, it's not always positive when you do something organically is what I'm trying to say. So it's almost like a give and take, because people will find comfort in media because they don't have to meet the person up front, but then others may.
But isn't that a fake illusion though? Because then they can't speak to you the same way in person. So then a lot of people are confident talking through text, but then once it comes face to face, where's that confidence at?
Yeah, but then that's also part of why you date, right? Like, no one's going to tell me that Pablo's an excellent man right off the bat. Like, I had to figure it out by myself. You know, like that's the point of dating. I don't know.
Exactly. But cause you saw his profile after you met him in person.
It just happened to work that way. But if it really didn't, I mean,
I think it's more beneficial for me if I meet the person than looking at their profile. I'm like, oh, okay, I see the match. I guess it works out for me. That's kind of how I would see it.
That makes sense. I'm not going to discredit it. I don't know. I just feel like
it's methods.
I'm almost right in the middle for having media be a negative approach and having it be a positive approach. I see both sides. Is what I'm trying to say.
I think the only way I can only vouch for me and of course us, but how we use social media. How we use social media, we pretty much are genuine when it comes to it. I feel like a lot of people out there are not using it genuinely, and a lot of people are misusing it and not for the good. And this is what damages a lot of the media today.
Yeah,
right.
That's
and
true.
especially when it comes to dating, as much as you want to be there and be your authentic self and genuine when it comes to a profile, you might come across somebody who's absolutely catfishing. And it's where you're like, you know what, fuck this. Like, I'm so over trying to like put myself out there in a silver platter, and then I'm just getting all these damaged folks. Like, it's just
fuck boys.
It's true. You just don't want to deal with it. And sometimes you're just like, I am so over it.
That's true.
And I've been putting myself out there. I'm tired. Like, who's not tired? And I'm just all for my single gals out there.
But that's also where that protective element comes in. You know what I mean? Where it's like, no, you can't get my number because we need to draw a line because of these bad experiences. And that's the impact part.
Unfortunately.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you get more protective of yourself through media channels if you have encountered these really horrible experiences for some. And some are just, you know, mediocre, weird experiences. But all to say that there are misconceptions of how we use media, but I think for many, social media is in fact the new love language. Like, if I find comfort in knowing that you like my post, if I am looking for numbers of people looking at my post or my stories, or if I'm getting pissed at people who don't look at my post, like, that is a sense of affirmation. And to a certain degree, you're relying on people's technology activity for love, like in exchange for a loving feeling or an affectionate feeling. That's weird. I don't know. I get it.
Yes.
I understand it.
But I think in a way it comes down to the source.
Yeah.
Which is yourself. If you don't love yourself, ain't nobody else gonna love you. And this is why.
Amen.
And this is a good quote that I got. If outside validation is your only source of nourishment, you will be hungry for the rest of your life. And this is when it comes to, like, I understand those likes and those things are important to a certain degree, of course, not fully.
Yeah.
But it's not everything. And there's some times that I get like a couple of likes and some of my posts. I don't give a shit. I am posting my pictures. I am happy with myself.
Who gives a fuck?
I love it. And
like, you do it for you.
I do it
not
for me.
For
I
others.
don't do it for anybody else. I do it for me. And this is how you get to take ownership of how social media affects you. It's how you use it. I used to use it for nourishment, and I can flat out admit it. I absolutely have in the past. But ever since my couple of years down the line being in this journey and actually learning my lessons after posting an ex-partner up there, I have learned that I just have to be cautious, because even though I moved right, a lot of people around you and a lot of people out here on the internet does not. And you have to be cautious for that. Absolutely. Yeah. So always be mindful of that. And as messed up as it is, the world is fucked up. There's a lot of fucked up people out here. And I hate to say it, but it's true. And you just have to be cautious and know what's going on. And that's why once you know yourself, once you chew with yourself, and once you truly do understand and love yourself, ain't nothing gonna phase you. Absolutely nothing. Like, I post and I don't even give a fuck how many people.
Right, because you bypass that whole searching for affirmation.
Correct.
Now, when it comes to best friends, you can hold them accountable.
Absolutely. Now I'm posting. I expect this one to absolutely press like. just like I will absolutely do for her. But again, that's just because
Yeah,
it's because it's us.
hay confianza.
Exactly.
Like at this
But when
point,
it's
we
like
might as well
any Joe
just.
Schmo, I don't give two shits.
Yeah.
Like,
There's
just-
far beyond some intentions that obviously are not necessary, right? Like you're not looking for affirmation or for some sort of feedback from a random person. You're looking at it from the perspective of, yeah, I would love to know that my bestie likes all my posts, right, Karen? But I get it. I get it. Listen,
Yes.
I admit my flaws and whatever. I look at this girl shit. It is what it is. But you actually brought up a really good point in that you need to be genuine and you really need to do things for you. Honestly, all that I can add as a piece of advice, or at least some words of wisdom, is that you find the positivity in media. I think many times media is portrayed as something negative still till this day, even more so because of these interactions or these sus kind of activity that people have. But don't let that get to you. Like, you continue doing you, post because you want to, post positive things, and I feel like you're definitely going to attract positivity.
Absolutely.
Because your outlook is positive. You know what I mean? Like, don't ever think that because I'm having a cloudy day, now everything else has to be cloudy. Absolutely not. A win is a win, right? Like, we post our wins.
Absolutely.
We post whatever we want. And truthfully, if one person sees it or 1,000,
Me da igual.
what can you do, right? Like, it's your media. It's your post. It's your choice, right? So
yeah.
it's all about projecting that positivity and having that positive outlook. And honestly, you'll see positive feedback. Like, if you see very morbid feedback, it's because maybe you're triggering the wrong algorithm. Like,
Right.
let's start thinking positive and let's start looking at. Right now, we were just right before this pod, we were looking at, a comedian stand-up who was
We were laughing.
with like auto-tune. Love him.
Hilarious.
You know what I mean? Like, it bring the joy back into media so
Correct.
that way it can be your personal love language for yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Love yourself always before anybody
Yes.
else, but also invite the media to be part of that.
Yes, and make sure you're happy, not in real life and not in social media. Just make sure you
yes.
are truly happy with yourself and understand the importance of human interactions and human connections
Over media.
I understand media is just stage 1. Stage 2, it has to be human connection. Understand that this is your gateway to have more connections with everybody. So just please make sure that you're always happy with life over social media.
All right.
So.
Well, let's close up. Cheers with water.
Cheers.
We're back to our cheersing. Cheers with water, y'all. It was great to see you guys. Make sure you follow us on Spotify, Apple Pod, and YouTube. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We're still not good at this. It is what it is. Just follow us on media. Keep up with what we're doing, and we love you all. Thanks so much. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.